Welcome to Worship Tutorials Live, hanging with Brian and Bradford.
Hello, everybody.
What am I hearing?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We can never get live to work right. I know. It's coming through somewhere. It's coming through. There it is.
That's why. We figured it out.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
We fixed it. We're playing the video.
It's so complicated, or so easy that it got complicated.
Brad, how long have we sat here trying to get live working?
Well, I've just sat here and played guitar.
Yeah, okay.
But
well,
still.
So the point of this live video today is, for one, if you joined us earlier while we were eating beefsteaks.
Delicious. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us while we were eating steak. We're both so full. We already got a comment. Kyle Jackson just woke up from a beefsteak coma. Something like that.
I guess. I did kind of get a little sleepy.
So Brad and I have joined our forces together, and we've created this. I'm going to move the camera around and show you what we got here. Are you ready for this? Oh, no, I don't have much room with all the cabling. Let me just try and zoom in on it. What you see what you have here is Kemper number 1, Kemper number 2, and a Kemper remote, no less. Is this thing going to focus on it? I do have it. Oh, look at that. You see that focus pull
I did see that
the camera did automatically for me? Kemper 1, Kemper 2. So we have a stereo setup. This is, what profile are we running here?
Up
I don't
top.
think you can read it. Yeah.
Up top is Michael Britt's 67 Deluxe Reverb.
And on the
So
bottom?
that's the American.
Okay.
And anytime I run stereo, I like to do American and not American.
Okay.
And then on the bottom is the Sela Sounds Red Mark II, which is one of our favorites. We use it all the time. So here we go. And then,
into the you got yourself a Sir Classic T.
I got my Sir Classic T. I love this thing.
And I can't. There's no way I'm going to get the board because it's like the way we have this thing set up can be a complicated
all you need to
shot.
know is that it's an HX Effects.
It's HX Effects. Okay, now I totally screwed up our framing.
Well, you zoomed in a little bit, didn't you?
I did. Let me zoom back out. Boom.
So some of y'all maybe just know this. What we're doing here is probably overkill for a live stream.
Oh, gosh, yes.
However, we don't do things half butt around here. So
yeah.
So there's a microphone right here. Let me see. So right up there.
I can't see it.
I know. You could hear that though.
What do they call this? ASMR? AMSR?
What?
Or you hear things like that and it makes your brain tingle? I don't know.
Oh. Well, we're doing that. And then here's something you're going to like. This is a stereo Kemper, so check this out.
Yeah, so one of these Kempers is pan hard left. The other's hard right. So, and we got the audio, the direct audio from the Kemper. You're going to hear Brad's...
You're going to hear that on top, but we can't. But that's just one step at a time, people.
Here's the tone. So if you have decent speakers or headphones, use them because you're hearing tremolo that goes from the left to the right, is panning back and forth. It's awesome. You're never gonna let me down. Okay, so we said this. Ask us your questions. So we had a question that was already asked, a couple of them, up top. What, in your opinion, is the best guitar under $500? Hugo asks. New or used? What kind of guitar? Acoustic guitar? Electric guitar? What's your pick for electric guitar under $500? Used. As used, you're always going to get a better deal.
You could get a Mexican-made Thinline Telecaster for that.
Made in Mexico, 72 thin line, like yours?
That's like the one I'm trying to sell.
You could actually buy Bradford's Made in Mexico 72 thin line Telecaster for how much? Would you sell it to somebody for $500?
I would. And it's been refretted, which
Done.
I feel like sometimes we were talking about this the other day, like people...
It can scare
the idea.
people.
They can scare. But the guy we had do it did Jack White's guitars from the White Stripes, the Raconteurs. He used to do his stuff all the time. And it feels, it's not, it needed to happen. So if I didn't do it, the next owner would have had to refret it anyways.
Yes.
So I saved you some money, and I'm really not asking for much of anything.
And it's well done.
It feels really good. His name is Mark Kane. You should look him up.
So
who did the frets?
Yeah. So a Mexican-made Fender of some sort.
Yeah, and if you're not gonna get, I don't like. I've tried the Strats. I don't think a Mexican-made Strat feels as good to me. But I think it's because when I play a Strat, I want to. That's more about feeling. That's like a soulful feeling kind of instrument. Yeah. You know, like you want to play riffs that you feel, and I don't think you can really feel that too well on a Mexican Strat. But that's just me, because I've played that thing.
That Strat back there.
This Strat.
This
Shelton, is hard to do.
The Shelton. Just point.
There.
Right
that Strat. So I'm a little spoiled.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions about Kemper versus Helix coming in.
There's that.
Let's spend a chunk of time talking about that.
That argument is kind of
that can be unedited. We didn't like talk about what we were going to say ahead of time.
Well, we've talked about that idea in general some other times, but not today specifically.
So there you go. That's our pick for electric guitar under $500. That or like a Squier vintage vibe, or what do they call them?
Yeah,
classic vibe.
Classic vibe. I haven't played any of them, so I don't know.
I've played one or two in the shop. They feel fine. Gretsch Projet is a great guitar for under that.
We got one of those sitting here.
There's a lot of guitars. PRS SE used.
Okay.
Any of the SEs.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Zach Myers PRS SE that was pretty cool. Anyway, for acoustic guitar, it's easy. It's the Martin 0018XE. I think I got the name right.
Those things are pretty sweet.
They're pretty good.
That's the one Nick had, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those are impressive.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's talk. What are the questions here? What are the specific questions that are Helix versus Kemper? Okay.
Yeah, we could go a lot of different directions.
Yeah. How do you know what songs to sing on Sundays? We'll hit that maybe in a different video. This one's going to be all about Kemper and gear.
Short answer, though, we decide together as a team.
Yeah. This is a very gear-focused live video. Okay, Andrew Walker. So, price point and features, Kemper or Helix? Well, Andrew, let's see. That depends on... Well, it depends. So, are you asking about which one has more features for the dollar? Or I'm not sure what the question means. Price point, features...
Because obviously you don't want to know about the price point, because...
So the Kemper costs more.
The Kemper without a remote.
Let's just start talking Kemper.
Let's just start talking. The Kemper costs more even without a remote. So the Kemper, if you don't have a remote, you essentially can only use it on your desk and bloop, 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 and punching buttons, unless you're using your pedal board.
Right.
So if you want to approach it as, this is why I love the Kemper. If you want to approach it as an awesome upgrade from a entry-level amp, which I had a Blues Junior, and it may have been entry-level price-wise, but it certainly wasn't entry-level sound-wise. I loved that thing.
Agreed.
And I never wanted more. I had a matchless. I say this all the time. And got rid of the matchless to go back to the Blues Junior.
I'm all mad. Yeah. I'm serious business here. Sorry. I'm trying to get comfortable.
We're like, yeah. But I got rid. I sold the Blues Junior. Funny enough, I may sell that thing. But I went to the Kemper because I wanted to record, and because not a lot of people had it. And I'll be honest, I was thinking about the channel and the views that we could throw out by having a Kemper.
Yeah.
But if you want to use it just as like an amp, you can find them for $1,400, $1,500.
$1,400 to $1,500 Used, okay.
And then that's about the price you would pay for a nicer, well, Helix, sure, but like a nicer amp.
Oh, I got you.
So an AC30 you could find for $800 or $900. But so for me, I did that, and I just pretty much every Sunday I go do the thing and I just turn a dial and pick a different profile.
Yeah.
But that's about all it can do if you don't have the remote.
Otherwise,
you're kind of dead in the water. Or if you have a MIDI controller to use that. But again, we're talking purchase point and features and stuff. If you just bought a Helix for $1,400, even cheaper, you can find them for what?
Yeah.
$1,000.
Well, you can buy a Helix LT used for
$800 or $900.
Probably $700-800. You could buy a floor used for probably $1,200-1,300. New $1,500. they each have strengths that work into different situations depending on how you want to use them. So like the Kemper has built-in effects. And I'm just thinking like people might not know what a Kemper is if they're just joining us.
Yes.
So a Kemper is a profiling amp. It's a modeling.
We'd show you, but we'd have to move the angle.
We already showed them.
Already
You
showed
can
them.
rewind
Or
back when
Google right now while you're watching.
when I did
unless
some
you're on an iPhone.
fancy camera, like pro level camera.
Pro level.
Yeah.
Hey, I could pull up a picture on my phone.
Do it and then just go.
Keep talking, Brian.
Yeah. Okay. So a Kemper is a profiling amplifier. The Helix is a digital modeler, and they are different things. They're both digital, and they're both recreations of old analog gear, like tube amps and effects. Kemper has effects built into it. It also has a foot controller that goes with it that can turn things on and off. So you can have drives, modulation.
Is right here.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
You can have overdrive, modulation, reverb, delay. This is the foot controller for the Kemper, so you can...
It's another $450, $500.
Yeah, so like if you want the Kemper amp plus the foot controller, you're looking at close to $2,000 if you buy it new. And they don't come up used very often, which is telling.
And when they do, people try to sell the remotes for almost the same price.
Yeah, because you can't buy the remote separately.
This is a Kemper.
It's not, the camera's not going to focus on that. Come on, camera. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
It's still focusing on us. Oh, well.
That's fine. You know why? It's because it has face detection on. And it sees our faces.
And it does not think that
there's no face in there.
This has a face, Fujifilm camera.
So
the face of love.
So the key difference is being a digital model of an amp or a pedal versus a profile. And so the difference is a digital model, what they do, for example, line 6, what they do is they go and they take a Fender Deluxe reverb, for example. They digitally model every component of that amp, and then you get all of the controls of the amp at your fingertips. So you can adjust the gain, adjust all the EQ on the amp, you can adjust all kinds of stuff. The profile, what that is the Kemper will create a profile, you could think of it as a photograph almost, of the amp that you profile at the settings you profile it. And then you can change it a little bit from the profile, but you can't change it much. So for example, you can't turn the gain up and expect it to act like the gain on the actual amp. It's like digital gain. So a lot of times what you do is you can purchase profile packs from people like our good friends at Selah Sounds and Tone Junkies. And they will they'll take a Deluxe reverb, for example, and they'll create a whole bunch of profiles at a whole bunch of different settings with different guitars sometimes even. And then you pick the one that fits what you're looking for best. So the philosophy and how they recreate sound is a little different. And they do sound a little different. Now, most people would argue that the raw amp tone from a Kemper potentially sounds better than the Helix.
And
most people would say that.
And especially if you literally just turn the Kemper
Watch out
on.
when you push that because it'll shake the camera in.
Especially if you just turn a Kemper on.
Yeah.
You're out of the box. You could if you're planning on using the effects in the Kemper, I think it takes longer. But if you're gonna be using the Kemper,
we're gonna try and monitor comments here, by the way.
Yes, if you're going to use the Kemper as an amp, and you're gonna add that to your setup, you could get it in the mail at Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, or whatever, and then use it Sunday morning. No problem. Mess around with it. It takes 5 minutes because there are some decent profiles on, but
and the Kemper, it's all about the profile. It's all about so there's really terrible sounding profiles and there's great sounding profiles.
Yeah.
And so, here's like the bottom line. This is what Brad and I like to say. So I use Helix most of the time. Bradford uses Kemper all the time.
All the time.
Except
with
for when
my
he's
pedal board.
Except when he's in this room.
Yeah, pretty much it.
So Brad has a huge pedal board, which we have shot a demo of a walkthrough of.
It's not huge.
It's a pedal board.
It's a pedal board.
It's a pedal board.
Not huge anymore.
It's a pedal board. And so Brad loves to use the pedal board and he runs it right into the Kemper, and the Kemper responds like a real amp.
It does.
And I like the Helix because I want an all-in-one solution. So you can use either of them as an all-in-one solution. Helix is way more it's way more user friendly and flexible. That's the word I was looking for. Flexible. You can do more with it as an all-in-one.
The Helix.
Yeah, as far as like effects and that kind of thing. Kemper, you can certainly make a lot of great sounds with it with effects and turn things on and off, but it's not as flexible as the Helix.
Mm-hmm.
The effects in both of them, I think they're about on par.
Yeah,
Sound-wise.
I think, they have like their own sound. If you're gonna try to like we just made a performance for This Is Amazing Grace on the Kemper, and I got pretty dang close. Sounds pretty stinking close to the Helix sound. But like I think the verbs are a little more. They're a little warmer. They're a little smoother
In the
on the Kemper. I don't think doesn't mean that the Helix verbs are harsher, but it's just in comparison, Kemper verbs are warmer. But
they have different levels of controls. This in-ear is itching the inside of my ear.
Yeah, we're using this because when we play, I'm just gonna pull mine out. We're not.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have it right now. We're using it to we can hear the guitar because otherwise it'll come through and then the microphone, and so we're using that. Yeah.
Okay.
What were we talking about? There we are.
Does Kemper do way more than Helix can do, and does it sound better? Andrew Walker asks. Does it sound better? That's a subjective thing. Here's one thing that Kemper does that Helix does not. So you can profile literally any amplifier in the world
And
with
have
a Kemper.
whatever you want. Literally any, like,
And it sounds
your amplifier
just like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you make a profile of your amp, the way you set it up, the way like you love your tubes with your broken in speaker, with all that, like, I mean, you can get it sound just like that.
Yeah. The mic'd tone.
Yes.
That's a
Helix cannot do that.
Helix can't do that. So that means
You're at the mercy of Line 6.
you only get the amp models that Line 6 gives you, but with Kemper, you can have anything anybody profiles and makes available, you can have. So, like, Brad and I both have, like, the John Mayer signature PRS amp. We both have, like, one of our favorite profiles is by Sela Sounds. It's called the Red Mark II. It's the Jackson amp Nigel Hendroff signature.
The Scarlet.
It's great. The Scarlet, yeah. So Helix doesn't have that. You know, it's a modded version of an AC30, and so you have an AC30 in the Helix, but you don't have that amp in the Helix.
Yeah, and any various, like, Matchless or Dr. Z kind of stuff that they have, yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, Helix can do stuff like run two amps at the same time. Kemper can't.
No.
Unless you have what we have going on, you have two Kempers over here. Which we did.
Now, you can run stereo in a Kemper, but you kind of got it. It's more like a studio thing. Like in the studio, you could, after you record an amp, you could throw a stereo delay, or stereo reverb on, like, within Logic or whatever. And you can do that with the Kemper, in a sense, by using an effects loop. So because it's line level and it's not like an amp level, like if you go out of your amp into like a DI or something, you're gonna blow something up.
Your amp.
So like you can't do that. But because this is a line level, you can go at the back of the Kemper because it's just audio. I mean, it's like the same thing. Like you could go out of your iPhone into a delay pedal, and then you could do that. It's kind of weird, but I'm just trying to make a comparison. And then you can run that to front of house, and it's gonna sound. It'll be in stereo, so you can do that. The limiting factor is you can only do one profile, and there's talk about whether Kemper will release one, but
a dual profile.
Yeah, dual profiler.
A dual profiler. Is that what they would call it?
That's a good point. I don't know. So it could be may not be worth it. So
yeah. So there's some more questions in here. Helix versus analog effects. We've had that question asked by several people. Helix effects are very good, and
they are.
And when it comes to when it comes to reverbs and delays,
they're not really analog.
Most. What do you mean by analog effects? Because a Strymon timeline is all digital. It's just their version of digital modeling of whatever they model, like a tape delay or whatever. Now you can buy a real tape delay, and it would be extremely
it'd be more expensive.
Inefficient to use.
You couldn't
imagine using one of those live. They're huge.
Man. You couldn't get a tape delay for the price of the HX effects.
Yeah, you could. You couldn't. Or you could buy a Roland Space Echo, like it's an all analog thing. Some reverbs are all analog, but most of them are digital. And most
of the ones people are gonna buy.
You can buy. Oh, you can buy spring reverb, sure.
Well, you can buy a tank. It's like a head, but it's
Yeah.
like the size of a Kemper too.
Or you can buy a huge metal plate and bounce reflections off of it for plate reverb. Anyway. Or you can build yourself a master.
So in other words,
we're going down this rabbit hole.
It does. It's all depends on what you want. There's like I've used a Helix, and I've never I remember the day that I realized that I could deal with the Helix. I remember the day I was sitting right here, and we got an IR impulse response cab, so it just kind of emulates more like moving air essentially. And I was playing, I couldn't stop playing, and that's when I realized like the Helix. I was like, okay,
it's for real.
Everything else, the effects are, the difference between effects is negligent. I would say the biggest lack is like sometimes if you're going to sit there and compare compressors, between like a standalone compressor and one of the Helix, sure, you may be able to tell one has a little more organic artifacts, if you will, if you want to use that. Actual overdrive pedals.
Drives,
yeah. Actual overdrive pedals. Like we've compared some Tube Screamers to the Tube Screamer in the HX and the Helix, and the Tube Screamers have a little more clarity, I think, and they got a little more natural
warmth
sounding
and clarity.
Yeah, it's weird.
Time.
Like it's like it's not dull and it's not bright either, but it's not either one of the others.
But that was just the specific Tube Screamer that I have, which is not really a Tube Screamer. It's a different take on one.
Sure.
So and the question then was asked again, Helix versus OCD. So basically Helix versus analog drives. I think if you heard them, here's what I think about it. My takeaway is if you heard them back to back, you might be able to say the analog drive sounds better. Actually, Line 6 has some really great videos where they do ABs against the actual pedals, and it's really hard to tell the difference. Well, but I think...
of course they want you to. So I'm sure hey, we're just going to pretend this person likes duller drives.
Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe they do. Anyway. But if you take, if you play one and then wait more than 30 seconds and play the other, you probably wouldn't be able to really tell the difference.
Yeah, we've done that, and we've experienced the same thing. Like, whoa, and then you play them like literally like back to back, like drives are on the same board as an HX.
Stomp on two buttons at the same time.
Yeah, you'll hear a difference, and we'll try to tweak them, but like we tweaked them to the point where they were almost sounding identical, and it's to the point of, well, which one do you prefer? Because they both sound good.
Yeah. Okay, some other questions. What do you mean by all-in-one solution? So that would mean like what is today? Friday? Sunday, when I go to church, I'm taking a guitar and my Helix, and that's it. So the Helix takes care of all the process, all the effects.
That the guitar, obviously.
The amp, the cabinet, everything. It just goes right out to the board. And so for the Kemper not being all-in-one would mean like, Bradford, you would take your pedal board and the Kemper.
Yeah. And even though...
And your pedal board's made up of a bunch of individual components.
Yes. But even though this is technically owned by Kemper, I still wouldn't say it's all-in-one.
It's not all-in-one, yeah.
Because...
there's two pieces.
You got to have two pieces. And so it's not, by definition, all-in-one. Because you got to have... And if you want a volume pedal, you got to bring that.
Yeah.
And the tuner works. You can use a tuner on this. A lot of guys who use the remote don't like the tuner.
Yeah.
But also, it's just not as flexible.
Right.
And I've spent some time with it. And you can get there, but I think the best way to use the remote on the Kemper is to set up sounds for the songs. And so you can have 5 buttons, and then each one of those can have a more feature. And
sure.
So there's lots of different ways to do it. But, yeah, that's not all in one. I don't care if it's all Kemper products. It's not.
Yeah, and that would be just electric guitar, like effects, amp, that kind of thing. Okay, so another question is, what is a guitar, quote, guitar patch? So a patch would be like a Helix patch, for example, would be a file that you would load into your Helix that would give it certain...
pretty much everything we just talked about, the amp and the effects. And
you'd set up all the effects. Kemper has what's called performances, and that's kind of like a patch. And it works with the remote and the Kemper.
It's very similar. It's pretty much the same thing.
And you get different things at your feet and the profile built into it.
And the one big difference, which could be, some people may like this workflow better. If you're one who makes patches or performances for each song you play each week, you may like this better, because then on the top here you can put these all four can turn effects on and off. So in the Kemper the Helix you can have more snapshots. What can you have? 10? 8?
On Helix you can have 8.
8 snapshots. So here you can have 5 essentially the same thing. This is tap. These are cycle up and down, tuner and loop. So you can turn 4 effects on. So like if you got like sounds that are similar, you can like use one of these buttons to turn a boost on and on one sound, or you can have it set to switch from like the one overdrive to another overdrive. You can have it set to it goes from the overdrive is a little cleaner and not the volume's not as high. You hit the button and it boosts the volume in the overdrive or whatever. So you can do a lot with it, but I think some people may like this better because I like the sounds. But if I want to use this every Sunday, if I want to do this and not use pedals,
program it.
Yeah,
for everything.
And if I was going to do that and I was going to go all digital that way, I would have a Helix instead because it's not worth it.
Yeah. So what I do on the Helix is I set up. So you can set the Helix up to do whatever you want it to do, but I set it up like I have 10 stomps available and they're effects. So I don't usually use snapshots. And so I just turn effects on and off, just like it's an actual pedal board in front of me, running into an amp. That's how I do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do we think of the Line 6 Power Cab?
We want one.
Mario Nostrosa.
Line 6, not an official sponsor.
Yet. We could be. All right.
Kemper, not an official sponsor.
Does Kemper sponsor anybody? Probably metal.
They're pretty proud of They're pretty proud of their product. They don't think anybody They don't think they need help pushing it. They're pretty
good. Daniel asks, "How do you know what strumming pattern to use when you see a song sheet?"
Well, it's more of an acoustic question because electric, you don't really do strumming patterns.
These.
Use your ear holes.
Your
orifices.
Here's my suggestion. Well, first of all, if you hear acoustic, listen to it and just mimic it. But listen to what the drummer does on the hi-hat and the snare. That's one thing you can do.
If you're running everything from a clean tone bass through a board, is it really worth it to buy a Kemper versus an AC30 or Hotrod Deluxe? You could say yes, but is that? Can I just be blunt? Is that question really worth asking? Because my point is whatever the heck you want to do. Nothing we ever say on this channel is absolute, except that Jesus is Lord and that this is the chords you should be playing. Those are the absolutes. And that's about it. We have strong opinions about gear, but there is no way. I actually heard we had a guy. I heard somewhere a guy was saying in a post on Facebook that his worship leader, he was pretty certain didn't want him playing because he used a Helix. And he was he thinks he needs to be all Fender name brand, Strymon sounds, Fender amps and all that. And I was I didn't want to dive into that on Facebook because I was I'm going to be white noise. A lot of other people are suggesting great stuff. No. But nothing we say here, we're diehard. I'm going to use a word that I learned from Penn Jillette. Is that that's the tall guy? Proselytize. I learned that word from him. He was just essentially talking about, he said he's an atheist. He's but this guy was not going to let me. He was not going to leave my show until he gave every last breath I would allow him to give, telling me about Jesus. And so, first off, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Second off, I learned that word. So proselytize. We're going to tell you we think Kemper and Helix, respectively, are amazing. But
they are.
Dude, is it worth it? I guess if you if you want to get down to it. Oh yeah, you can use a 67 Deluxe reverb instead of a Hotrod Deluxe. You tell me. But if you don't know how to mic the thing, you don't know how to use the Kemper, you might as well use a cardboard box with a speaker in it. So.
Yeah. But here's another thing about gear though.
There's always another thing.
Yeah. Gear has a sound, right? A Deluxe reverb. Did he use AC30 as an example?
AC30 and Hot Rod, I think you said.
Oh, Hot Rod. Okay. So, say you got an AC30, it has a sound. Helix can sound like it. Kemper can sound like it, right? But there's a feeling you get too when you play something, and it's more than just the way it sounds. It's an emotional attachment to it. So if you have an emotional
deep here.
If you have an emotional connection with a tube amp, the way it looks, the way it moves air in the room because it's super loud, then you should do that. You shouldn't. I don't think you should give that up to try the next greatest thing if it works for you.
Yeah.
And the same thing with pedals. Like Bradford loves pedals, and like I'm not gonna sit here and tell Bradford, "Well, you're an idiot if you don't go Helix because it's better."
I mean, he may say that, but he doesn't mean it.
So if you have like an emotional attachment with a pedal board and you like to like take pictures of it and share it with your friends and
put 20 different hashtags on your Instagram so you get lots of likes.
And like turn the actual knobs and you should totally play with the pedal board and run it into whatever you want. Like it's up to you. These are just tools that get you to an end product. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's deep, Brian. But if you see part of the reason why the Kemper didn't bother me, and many other things, people say it's like the natural amp sound. If you're used to playing in in-ears. People, anyways, when I plug this thing in and I use it for the first time on stage during a rehearsal at church, I was blown away because it was articulate, it was clear, it wasn't woofy, it wasn't like, not this. I thought my guitar sounded pretty good in the house at the church.
Yeah,
like I thought I did a good job of tweaking stuff, but the second I plugged this in, it was so much clearer.
Yeah.
And people ask about the feeling, but like. You don't really get much feeling when you're plugged in and you're mic'd and you're running through in-ears and all that. And I mean, this felt just the same to me. So.
I don't know what people mean by that. To be perfectly honest with you,
the feeling I think people talking about is more the feeling of like the amp being in front of you, and when you hit a low note, you hit
something really loud.
Something flubs. It flubs differently, and this woof.
Yeah.
The floor shakes differently than if you're using studio monitors.
Yeah. Well, then you can buy. Any number of huge speakers that you can plug the Helix
like
or
the Line 6 power cab.
Like the power cab, or like Friedman
not
makes.
Not an official sponsor.
Friedman, also not a sponsor.
Not a
makes
sponsor.
You can be a sponsor of us, Friedman. We're tutorials.
This is a new thing we're trying out.
We're just gonna say not a sponsor when we say any brand name, and then see if they'll reach out to us and say, would you like us to be a sponsor?
The only sponsors we can come close to saying we have are Shelton.
Shelton, yeah.
That's pretty much it.
We love Shelton. Shelton's a great dude, and his guitars are
If you're looking to drop
awesome.
some money on a guitar, you should talk to him.
Yeah.
You should talk to him.
Tell him we sent you. Instruments. Yes, please.
Anyways, continue on.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah, you can buy like these big, basically, think of them as cabs. They're called FR speakers, monitors. What that means is flat range or a full range. Full range.
Flat response.
Flat response. Is that what that means?
I think.
Basically, it's just like a speaker that just amplifies the sound that you put into it. So you run a Helix into it and turn it up loud, and it's going to sound like a real loud amp in your room. And I think the feel will come back to you. Okay, I think we should play some music.
We should, because you
want to both of us play guitar?
Yeah, you could.
I can play a chord progression, and you can just solo on top of it or something.
You can play acoustic, I guess.
Yeah, can you hand me that one back there? I can't really move because I'm tethered. So are you, actually. You have a longer tether than I do. All right, so we're going to play something. I don't know what we're going to play.
So this is, if you're just now hopping in, this is,
You see that, Bradford?
What happened?
There's a
crack.
crack.
The finish crack?
It's a big one.
Sorry, Brian.
I know. Well, okay, so somebody had asked me what my favorite Martin guitar is, and it's this. It's a Martin CEO7. One of us should get a Veritas, I see somebody said. Well, Veritas, not a sponsor, but if you'd like to be a sponsor, Veritas, send an email. We'll receive one. We'll key in. D.
Your guitar's down a half step.
Oh, it totally is.
You're okay. I'll do it.
No. Here. I forgot that I tuned my guitar down a half step. Zach asked if Veritas is a Christian-based company. I think there's the guy who runs his name is Casey. I think he's pretty
he's
outspoken about his faith.
There we go.
Let us know how this sounds. Bradford, that sounds so digital. Back to that minor thing. Sorry, you were in the middle of it.
I was just getting
going. Oh no! I feel the tremolo going. Hey, you think you want to play a song and sing it? Let's play a worship song. It's 4:52, so we probably should. We need to commence the stream soon. I'd like to say things and make make statements and do like this. I've been watching Transformers Rescue Bots with my son Seth, who's 5, and they often will say things and then they'll go, like as they say things they'll go like make a power fist when they say it. I don't know. It means it's like the yes. We're gonna sing a worship song
unto the Lord.
Yes. What do you want to sing? We sing Reckless Love every time. Let's sing something else. Suggestions?
Build My Life.
Build My Life, yes. G. Justin asks, is it bad if he hates tremolo?
Can't be my friend. Just kidding.
This is Build My Life. My house fires, passion, whoever. Worthy of every song you could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Singing is weird for me today. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath argument for what's his name to love tremolo again, because that was good. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. Live for you.
My bad. Forgot what key we're in.
G. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart. Lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. All right. Woo! That song is long, by the way. Okay. That's probably the end of the stream. Bradford's got to go. He has some sort of a commitment to get to this evening with his
Yes.
lovely wife.
Yes.
So, anyway, hope you enjoyed that.
Yes.
We had a few questions come in. Maybe we can answer those real
Just
quick.
a few.
What's our favorite worship band?
I don't really have a favorite.
Probably Hillsong. It's the band I listen to the most.
Most influential would definitely, for me, would be Hillsong, but I don't know if that'd be
Yeah.
my favorite.
I don't know. There's a lot of great worship stuff out there.
Yeah. Hey, the earrings thing, that just can be, it's a little personal. I think it's a cultural thing. There's nothing in the Bible that says I can't have earrings, so. Tattoos, cultural thing. Hats, cultural thing. Wearing jeans, cultural thing. Wearing a tie, cultural thing. women having to wear a dress, cultural thing.
Boy, Brad, you're just walking right into traffic there. I like that saying.
It's just a cultural thing. It's based around culture.
Yeah, it's true.
I am no less a Christian because I have earrings in my ears.
Yeah, that's not what he said though.
I know, but that's the point though. That's my point. Yeah. It's like I'm no less of a Christian because somebody without earrings could be less of a Christian than me. Just like somebody with earrings could too. Anyways, I take that a little personally.
Yeah. Bradford's a little sensitive about his earrings.
Gauges.
Okay, whatever.
I don't even have earrings, so maybe you weren't talking to me.
I don't know. Okay, well, on that note, any other things? Okay, that was awesome. I assume that they're talking about the song, but it might have been what you said about earrings. Okay, are Echo Telecaster guitars any good? I've never heard of them.
Sorry.
Don't know. Rapid fire question answer time. That's about it. Stephen Whitney says A flat. Oh, well, my guitar's tuned down a half step. That's why I have a capo on. Well, we played that in the key of G for Jesus. Jesse says he apologizes. Say sorry, he didn't mean to offend you.
I'm not offended.
Jesse, I don't know. Maybe Brad read a little more into that question.
Yeah, he asked it, so I answered it.
Oh man, okay. We gotta end on something else. Okay, here's the thing. Here's something we can end on. Why do I say that all the time? Here's the thing. I said that a lot.
Look.
Next week.
I said
look here.
Look.
Look here now.
Look here, boy.
If you were with us earlier in the day, we went live and we grilled steaks. And we're gonna maybe
Mine's
try.
starting to wear off.
You need more steak?
I need more steak.
He needs another one. We're going to try and make that a somewhat recurring segment where Brad and I get together on Fridays and we prepare and eat some sort of a food together and share it with you via live stream. So.
The other thought we had was to try all of the TJIF frozen
all the different frozen appetizer entrees. Yeah. So, look out next Friday. We went ribeye steaks this time around, and we saw in the meat section they had
fillets.
They had tenderloin fillets there. They were quite a bit more expensive. They were $20 a pound. They were not cheap, but they looked so good. But next week we might celebrate with high quality marbled beef steaks.
I'm not opposed to such things.
And grill them up, and hopefully I won't overcook them like I did this time a little. Slightly.
You didn't overcook them. You just cooked them longer than you preferred.
Yeah. They weren't well done. They weren't well done. Anyway.
It's just funny because I would say that if you cook a steak well done, it's not well done, it's poorly done. Anyways.
I would agree. Okay.
You guys have a wonderful evening, wherever you are.
We're going to end this gracefully. Ready? We're going to try anyway.
No promises.
Bye-bye.